I was lucky enough to be around at the very origins of our MSc programme, and I think it's fair to say that it was something that we wanted to do from the very moment that the OII was established. The rationale for creating that degree was really sort of a recognition of the need that enabled the OII to be created in the first place as well, which was just a sense that the world was moving faster than research could keep up. In the context of the MSc degree, what we particularly wanted to do was to create a graduate degree that would provide training for future policymakers and researchers and analysts, essentially anybody who might be working with digital technologies or making decisions about their future. And because of that, we designed it in such a way that all of our participants would have to have a basic understanding of simple things like how the internet actually works, how technologies are framed by regulation and policy, and how in turn they shape the options for policy making. And at the same time, I think one of the things that's been really fantastic in the way it's developed is that we've also embraced research and data and the new findings that you can actually accomplish with social data generated by the internet itself. So as a degree, if I look back at what we wanted in the very beginning, I think it's fair to say that it all evolved quite considerably over the years that we've offered it. And now, in addition, as I say, to those very basic sort of fundamentals, it offers to me some of the most innovative methods and data courses of any degree in the UK.
So when we started the program, the aim was to be an interdisciplinary program to look at the internet from a variety of different disciplinary perspectives. And when it started, it was one of the only programs of that kind, and I think it still is one of the only programs of that kind. And I think what's been challenging, but also wonderful about the program, is that I and other faculty members get to teach about the research topics that we're working on, and that we're constantly having to update our reading lists and find and explore new topics. And over the years, the program has attracted more and more student applications. It's become more and more selective, and it's also explored lots of new topics over the course of its existence.
We started teaching in 2009, 10 years ago. But to get to that point, already there was a lot of work that had to be done in establishing the degree, meaning the first conversations were starting here in 2006, 2007, and that was a time when the internet and the web looked very different to how they did now. So Facebook was in its infancy, Twitter had only just been founded, nobody had really heard of it, there was no Bitcoin, nobody was talking about fake news. But what people were talking about very actively was what they called Web 2.0. And they were really aware that the internet and the web in particular were becoming more interactive, more social. And so there was a real sense of the need to take a closer look at what are the social implications of these technologies that people are developing, and how do they stand to change our society and the way that people interact and live their lives within that society.
If I think about what I'm most proud of in terms of our achievements with that degree, I think unequivocally for me it would be the alumni that course has generated and the great work that they've accomplished. It feels to me as if not a month goes by when I don't encounter one of our alumni in some significant role. Most recently, the select committee that I gave evidence to was being serviced by one of our students. I have had 2 meetings in the last month with some of our ex-alumni who are working in government affairs with big tech companies. So, you know, in terms of those original expectations that we would provide internet literate future generations working in industry, government, academia and civil society, all I can say is that I think we have fully achieved that, and frankly I couldn't be prouder.
One of the ways of indicating just how strong this program is that at the end of the one-year master's program, students typically do a research thesis on a topic of their choice. And what's been amazing to see is that many of these theses have actually been turned into publications in academic journals.
And we also added in the last 10 years a lot of exciting new substantive optional courses that students are able to choose. So in the last 10 years, colleagues like Professor Luciano Floridi have come to the OII. He teaches an exciting course in the philosophy of information and ethics. My colleague, Professor Willy Leidenwerter, has joined us. He teaches an exciting course called Digital Technologies and Economic Organization, which focuses on organizational theory and the way that institutions develop in online contexts. We've also seen this alumni of the OII go on to do lots of extremely exciting things, working in a wide range of different sectors. Of course, the technology sector, consulting, but also in government, in charities, many of them finding real ways to make a meaningful difference to the world.